Okay. I don't see any more tricklers, so we will get started. Welcome everybody to the evening community meeting. Just a heads up, we did not receive any requests for Spanish or sign language interpretation this month, but we do still have the option for using captions for this meeting. So to enable your captions, please click the More button and choose your caption choice. All right, just for those of you that are new here, there are quite a few. My name is Adelina Paez. I'm an air pollution specialist here at CARB. I help plan the evening community meetings and work on outreach for the light duty and clean mobility incentives within California's northern and central regions. Tonight, I will be facilitating the meeting as we share updates on clean transportation incentives, engagement opportunities, and presentations on topics of public interest. Before we begin, I want to thank our ECM team and volunteers who help with the planning and facilitation of these meetings each month. We truly appreciate your time and hard work. It could be quite a bit, quite tedious, so we thank you so much. And a quick housekeeping note, this meeting is being recorded. The recording, agenda, slides, and attendee list will be posted on our meetings and workshops webpage in about 2 weeks. Staff can drop the link to our events page. And I did want to note that we did have some important language interpretation changes due to budget constraints. And that language will be added in the chat, the Zoom chat. All right, moving forward. Next slide, please. All right, these meetings are about community and sharing information. Our meeting agreements are here to alleviate challenges and are as follows. Be respectful. Let's be kind and create a comfortable space for everyone to share their thoughts and experiences. Take space and/or make space. If you have a lot to say, great. We encourage you to ask questions, but please, let's be mindful and leave room for others to participate as well. Listen to understand. Listen without judgment or jumping to conclusions. Lastly, consider equity. We all aim to develop solutions with fairness and equity in mind. People from all over California are here to work together, and these diverse perspectives can help overcome barriers. And with these agreements in mind, let's continue. Next slide. The purpose of the evening community meetings is to hold space for community members to engage with us. Our goals of this meeting are to provide a space for community voices and priorities, brainstorm solutions for clean transportation needs, highlight important program information, foster ongoing communication between staff and community. I know that's a hard one, but we strive to do our best. We understand that many community members face challenges attending daytime meetings due to work, family responsibilities, and other commitments. To help keep you informed, we've created these evening meetings to provide summaries of CARB's daytime clean transportation workshops and work groups. These evening sessions are designed for community members, community-based organizations, and individuals who may not be able to attend daytime meetings but want to share their concerns, questions, and suggestions. If you are a representative of industry, government, or non-government organizations, we welcome you to listen in on these community meetings to better understand individual and community perspectives. However, we strongly encourage you to also participate in CARB's daytime workshops and work groups, which offer more in-depth technical information. During the Q&A segments, we also ask that you keep help help us prioritize feedback and questions from individual and community members. Next slide. All right. Sorry. Okay, for tonight's agenda, first up, we have Jeanette Powie presenting a recap of the public workshop on Drive Forward Light Duty Vehicle Programs. And then second, we have a presentation with Brianna Throcha giving an update for the Innovative Small E-Fleet Pilot Project, which in short, ISEF. Last, we have Leilani Viramontes giving an update slash recap of the Clean Mobility Forum. We will have time for Q&A after each topic. I will now hand things over to Jeanette.
Thanks very much, Adelina. Again, I'm Jeanette Powie. I work on the light duty vehicle program, and I'm going to give you a recap of what we've been working on. So in June 2025, Governor Newsom signed an executive order directing CARB to begin work on new emission standards for light duty passenger vehicles. And this underscores our commitment to protect the health of all Californians, especially those in the most vulnerable populations. And the new Drive Forward light duty standards, vehicle standards, aim to cut emissions from passenger vehicles and light trucks. And that means reducing smog-forming pollutants, greenhouse gases, and toxic air contaminants. As these standards are developed, the light duty team is guided by three key principles. And those are, first, the program needs to be flexible while still delivering cost-effective emission reductions. Second, we want to encourage early action that helps us meet our goals sooner. And third, we must ensure that our strategies translate into real-world emission reductions. Take the next slide. Thanks. And given this, we're seeking input on several key areas related to the scope of the new rulemaking. First, we're evaluating tighter particulate matter and non-methane organic gases and nitrogen oxide fleet average standards. And we're considering new non-exhaust emission standards to gain further reductions in particulate matter. We're also evaluating appropriate greenhouse gas standards, along with other mechanisms to better address real-world emissions of both smog-forming pollutants and greenhouse gases. We're also considering the role of zero-emission vehicles, which have progressed as one of the most powerful tools in meeting California's air quality and climate goals. Lastly, we're looking into updating zero-emission vehicle certification requirements that will help ensure that zero-emission vehicles provide long-lasting and reliable emission benefits. So we had our first workshop on October 21st, and we sought input on cutting smog-forming air pollutants, like ozone and particulate matter, greenhouse gas and toxic emissions, engine certification requirements, zero-emission vehicle standards, and an environmental analysis. Note that staff are now in the discussion and information gathering stage, and there are no regulatory proposals yet. The comment period for the workshop concluded November 21st, and staff are now going through all the comments. If you missed the first workshop, the recording is available on the Light Duty Meetings and Workshops page. We'll drop a link for that into the chat. But we can tell you what the comments did focus on broadly, the ones that we've received. They focused on regulatory flexibility, protecting disadvantaged communities and air quality in the state's most impacted areas, improved charging infrastructure, the importance of incentives. Overall, commenters were looking for more information, of course, which will be provided as we develop the proposal. and they are engaged and ready to provide more specific input as we go forward. There will be more opportunities for us to engage with you. We will have our second workshop sometime in the winter or spring of 2026. And in tandem, we'll be traveling across the state to hear from communities on our rulemaking, and then have our third workshop in summer 2026. And finally, sometime in the fall or winter of 2026, we will be releasing our staff report and then presenting to our board members in 2027 in summertime. For engaging communities during this process, we'll be working directly with community-based organizations in different regions of the state to put on 3 meetings that are focused on the priorities and perspectives of the communities themselves. We will also hold virtual meetings for those who can't attend in person. And we don't want to reinvent the wheel or cause more meeting fatigue. So we'll tap into existing meetings and processes communities already know and use. And during these meetings, we want to explore all the regulatory mechanisms we can to continue prioritizing our communities. We will also be sure to coordinate across the California Air Resources Board with other agencies so we're aligned and are making the best use of resources. Finally, our engagement will be flexible. We'll adapt our approach to match the specific needs and interests of each community. So we'd like you to stay involved, and you can do that by signing up to the email list to stay engaged. And you can also use the QR code that's on the slide here. We invite interested stakeholders to request individual follow-up meetings, particularly if you have questions or suggestions on technical elements of the rulemaking. You can use cleancars@arb.ca.gov to get in touch with us. And once we have a regulatory proposal to share, we will get back with you to provide an update. Thank you, everyone.
We'll now open the floor for questions and comments about this part of the presentation. To ask a question or make a comment, if you're on the Zoom desktop app, click on Raise Hand under the Participants tab. If you're on the Zoom mobile app, tap Raise Hand in the More tab. And if you're calling in by phone, press *2 to raise your hand. You can also email questions to cleantransportationincentives@arb.ca.gov. This email address will be posted in the chat. Please include your name and affiliation, if any, with your question. Once your line is open, state your name and affiliation, if any, before speaking. If you're emailing, our email monitor will notify us of your questions. Mike Bullock, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yeah, I think it did. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, in terms of rulemaking, I mean, I think of corporate average fuel efficiency and those kind of rules. But you did also say clean car incentives. So I've owned a Tesla since 2020, and I'm irritated by the fact that I had to learn the most important thing about owning an electric car on my own. And I don't know why the government is in on trying to keep this a secret, or I don't think you are, but it's almost as if you are. And the big secret is that you don't have to take the car in for routine maintenance. Now, you might think that's not such a big deal, but actually that's a huge deal. You know, we've bought brand new internal combustion engine cars, and in 6 months, you get a notice, it's time for routine maintenance. And it's really expensive, and it's really, really inconvenient. And I talk to people that don't have an electric car, and that doesn't cross their mind. They don't think about that. They worry about charging. They worry about this. They worry about that. Oh, the tires are going to wear out fast. And, you know, the negative information is out there, and it's probably put out there in a very kind kind of a tricky way there's so much money to be made getting people to keep buying internal combustion engines. I see advertisements all the time. I watch TV. I'm a sports fan, and I get sick of it. And that it seems to me that why do we even allow that stuff? I mean, we don't allow advertising hard liquor. I would argue that internal combustion engine cars are much more harmful given our situation on climate change. And that's another thing. I think that CARB should educate the people about why it is a code red climate emergency, according to our Secretary General of the UN, and of course it is. So that education should motivate people and get them to ask questions of, say, their faith-based institutions. Why are you not talking about the climate change? It seems like it's really bad. I got this thing from California, and it tells me why it's better to buy an electric car, and it also tells me why we have a code red climate emergency, and that would be the NOAA plots, 800,000 years back and 1,000 years back. You put those together, and you know that we are the cause of it, and you know that we are in huge trouble because the atmospheric CO2 is over 420, and the temperature anomaly that goes with that is 15 degrees centigrade. We're at about 1.5 right now, and yet it is having an effect on our climate. It's causing storms and floods and droughts. And so that information, it's almost if the government is afraid to say anything. And I want my government to be more active, and CARB should be doing that. If you talk about clean car incentives, a lot of it is just information about how much cheaper they are to own and how much more convenient.
Mike, thanks for your comment. We really appreciate it, and
Thank you very much.
We hear you. So
Great.
let's move on to the next question so we can give someone else another chance. Thank you so
Excellent.
much.
Thank you.
Indy Rishi Singh, I've unmuted your microphone.
Hey guys, thank you so much. So I in Contra Costa here. I work between Contra Costa and Alameda, doing a lot of work between farmers, urban farms, as well as farmers, and trying to just support some of these food security issues in our communities. And I'm just noticing that there isn't any integration of electric vehicles, and there's a lot of challenges, obviously, because of finances. Having a farm is tough already, but then adding all the costs of, like Mike just mentioned, there's a lot of costs that go into like maintaining vehicles that are, combustible. So I wondered, how are you guys communicating, or maybe the question is kind of like, how are you communicating to the farming communities and the people wanting to farm? And do you need any support as well? Being that I'm already going between all these different people and building relationships, is that something that would be supportive to y'all too?
Thanks, Indy. Yeah, definitely we support what you're talking about in terms of getting more information out into the farming communities. And I'm not sure if you're talking about, light duty passenger cars or if we're talking about heavier vehicles, but definitely more education is better. We totally agree with you. Thanks for your comment.
Richard Blaustein, I've unmuted your microphone.
Yes, thank you very much. My name is Rich Blousey, and I'm a journalist for Climate Brief, which is published by the Continuing Education of the Bar of California. These evening webinars are of great help and informative. Thank you. I have a two-part question. So when, just the best guess, when will the regulation be presented to the CARB board? I guess 2028. And regardless of a different federal administration, and also if this regulation places much emphasis on conventional pollutants like NOx. Will it still need a waiver at the EPA level? Thank you.
Thanks for your question. First of all, our timeline shows that we're going to be taking this to our board in summer of 2027, actually, a little earlier than what you mentioned. But if you want to follow up, our comms office can assist you, and we can put their email into the chat for you so that you can communicate with them.
Thank you.
Indy Rashish Singh, you still have your hand up. Did you have more to say, or okay, never mind. Mike Bullock, I've unmuted your microphone.
Oh yeah, thank you. Just a little more time. I just want to be a little more specific in what I am suggesting, and that is that the state of California, when it sends out any information, either email or actually mail, tax information, anything else, that you include information about the huge advantages of electric cars. Because I don't think it's well known, well understood. Also, you could kind of be in touch with a lot of the negative information about electric cars that could be responded to, and so you can minimize the harm from that. Because I think if the demand is high, the companies will be getting a little more money, and they'll expand their factories. They'll go in that direction. And so we've lost the tax rebate program, and it could be filled in with information, everything you send out. And information is just information. People will complain about it. People, the oil companies won't like it, and some people won't appreciate the information, but it's extremely important, and just to emphasize the convenience of not having to maintain the car all the time, always going in for that routine maintenance. When you buy an electric car, you just don't get much, and that's really wonderful. It takes a lot of batteries and as many motors you want to buy, up to 4. I have 4, one for each wheel. So I guess there's a little axle in there. But there's just one of those driving units, and then wires and battery, and there really isn't anything else. There's such a long list of equipment for an internal combustion engine car that
we love your enthusiasm, Mike, and thank you for helping spread the word about electric vehicles. We love that.
CARB should help me. CARB should be, or rather the government, California should be spreading that, and I think they should outlaw advertising things which are really, really harmful, like internal combustion engine cars.
We have a partnership with a nonprofit organization called Veloce. If you go to veloce.org and their electricforall.org campaign, it has a lot of what you're talking about there. So I appreciate the comment. Thank you for coming tonight.
Well, I want to get it in the mail from the state of California. I want to open the envelope and find out everything I know, and maybe even more advantages to it. For instance, you never use the brakes. I mean, I tell people I use brakes when 2 things happen: when I do something stupid, or another driver does something stupid. Other than that, it's regenerative, and I don't touch the brake blocks. And that's, a lot of particulate air pollution, and brakes wear out, and it's just, and every time I slow down and come to a stop, I put more charge in the battery, and I don't think you can do that with gasoline. So just those advantages.
Thanks, Mike.
I can send him that information on Veloz too if you want, Jeanette.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone, for your comments and questions. This feedback helps improve our projects and programs. For our next presentation, we have Brianna Rocha giving an update on innovative small e-fleet pilot project.
Hi everyone, I am Brianna Rocha. I am the lead for the Innovative Small E-Fleet Pilot Project, or ISEF for short. I'll provide an overview of the program, the outcomes of the recent reopening, and explain how to participate in the pilot. Next slide, please. ISEF is a set-aside within the Clean Truck and Bus Voucher Incentive Project, known as HVIP, and has helped small fleets across the state get into zero-emission trucks. ISEF focuses on supporting innovative solutions that address challenges that small fleets may face when looking to adopt a zero-emission vehicle, such as providing all-inclusive leases, peer-to-peer truck sharing, truck as a service, and other alternate business models. It can cover zero-emission trucks and buses ranging from size class of 2B delivery trucks to class 8 semis. Only small fleets are eligible for ISEF, and small fleets are defined as California-owned companies, nonprofits, public agencies, and individual owner-operators with 20 or fewer medium and heavy-duty vehicles, and that have a revenue of less than 15 million. Government agencies and nonprofits are exempt from this revenue cap. And in ISEF, there are 3 primary parties: a provider, an HVIP-approved dealer, and an eligible small fleet participant. Providers are companies that put together service packages in ISEF to make zero-emission vehicle adoption easier for small fleets. Providers and dealers work together to complete the voucher request application and oversee the entire transaction to get that point of sale discount, which allows small fleets to get trucks at lower costs. More information on ISEF can be found on the HVIP website, which is californiahvip.org. Next slide. In May 2025, all the ISEF funds were requested and the pilot did have to close. It opened again on October 21st, 2025, following the release of a new implementation manual. ISEF reopened with 30.7 million. It now has 20 million in funding left. And just for a quick recap of the request, since late November, we had 53 new fleets apply. The average fleet size is 4 vehicles. 73% of vouchers were for fleets domiciled in disadvantaged communities. And the following is a breakdown of the program by solution. There are 97 vouchers for leases, 20 truck as a service vouchers, and 20 rental vouchers. Please note that this is an early analysis of what we've seen so far, so these numbers may change as we continue processing vouchers. Next slide. Now, how to participate. As mentioned, ISEF has 20 million in available funding, and there are multiple ways that you can participate in the program. If you are a company that is involved in the lease, rental, financing, subscription, or fueling of zero-emission vehicles, you can become an ISEF provider. To start, you'll have to complete the online application. And dealers of zero-emission trucks and buses can partner with ISEF providers to participate in ISEF. More info can be found on how to get started on the request guide attached in that second bullet. Finally, for small fleets and other small businesses that want to operate medium and heavy duty trucks, there are a couple of ways that ISEF and other CARB programs can help you get into zero emission trucks. If you have any questions about zero emission vehicles and are looking for free expert support to figure out how to get into ZEVs in your fleet, Cal Fleet Advisor is a great support option. You can request free support from a personal advisor online or by email. If you're ready to try a medium and heavy duty electric vehicle through a short-term rental or lease, ISEF may be a great option for that reduced cost. You can also visit the California HVIP website at californiahvip.org for more information on this pilot. And as for an email contact, please reach out to isef@californiahvip.org. Next slide. As for next steps, in early 2026, we plan to host a second ISEF New Options Work Group to further discuss the options included in the 2024 to 2025 funding plan. The new options being developed include a used truck voucher pilot concept, advanced fleet management assistance, and insurance support. We may also include other program updates during this work group. It is anticipated that it will be 1 to 2 years to develop and implement the new options. So for now, we will continue meeting with industry experts and the public to gather information and ideas. If you're interested in sharing a comment or a suggestion on the new options, feel free to send them to zevtruckstop@arb.ca.gov. Next slide. For technical or eligibility questions, please email the program administrator at isef@californiahvip.org, and project staff can be reached on the emails shown here on screen. Thank you.
We'll now open the floor for questions and comments about this part of the presentation. To ask a question or make a comment, again, if you're on the Zoom desktop app on your PC, click on Raise Hand under the Participants tab. If you're on your mobile device using the app, tap Raise Hand in the More tab. And if you're calling in by phone, press *2 to raise your hand. You can also email questions to cleantransportationincentives@arb.ca.gov. This email address will also be posted in the chat. Please include your name and affiliation, if any, with your question. Once your line is open, state your name and affiliation, if any, before speaking. And if you're emailing, our email monitor will notify us of your questions. Tyler Wunsch, I've unmuted you. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, my name is Tyler. Just here as a concerned citizen, community advocate, and yeah, great presentation. Big day today with HVIP reopening with vouchers, and I think I heard you say that the specific program you mentioned has already exhausted funds, or is it now with this new set aside? Is there new money for what you just talked about?
Okay, yes, so ISEF is open right now. It had closed in May of 2025 due to the exhaustion of funds. However, it reopened on October 21st with 30.7 million. There's currently 20 million still available. So you're welcome to request vouchers, and the HVIP did reopen today. That's correct.
So what you're saying is yours is HVIP has already been funded since October, but then today a different HVIP was funded, but it's still HVIP.
Yeah, so ISEF is a set aside. I like to frame it as it's a sub option of HVIP. HVIP's the larger program.
Okay.
HVIP we operate on different funding, different cycles of opening and closing. Just depends on demand and the funding available. So yes, HVIP, the larger program, which offers standard purchases for ZEVs, medium and heavy duty ZEVs, currently is open. They open with, I believe, over 100 million in funding. ISEF is still open as of October 21st.
Okay, and then just a follow-up. I'm trying to wrap my head around the HVIP umbrella, I guess. Thank you for elaborate on that. Is there a way to sort of track, like today, for example? I don't know. I hope a lot of people took advantage of it. Is there a way to sort of track how much is left of your program or other programs? Yeah. Or is it sort of like a black box of well, you have to apply and then you go through this,
yes,
advisor, and then they'll tell you? Or is it more transparent where the public knows?
Yes, the funding is tracked on the HVIP website. They have a funding tab. If you were to click that, it'll show each set aside and how much funding they have. I can, after this, after Q&A, I can drop the link if
I think I just got it, californiahvip.org.
Yes.
Okay.
So
I'll play around with this, and yeah, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, since I'm still on, I'll be quick as well, maybe another 30 seconds. What I really see happening is so HVIP is great for maybe ports and heavy duty. but I see like a great community response happening across the nation where I feel like, for example, in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, there's a public car share program called EV. And what's great about it is it's free floating. So it's a nonprofit. Anyone could use it. It doesn't matter your income. It's for anybody. They're up to like over 100 plus charging stations. They have a whole fleet of vehicles. So think about like a gig car share before AAA kind of like went bankrupt with it. And what I see happening is, sure, we have Waymo, we have Uber, we have Lyft, we have Zoox. There is a little bit of like the Via or Zipcar community car share happening, but it's not in a scalable manner that is really like something that people across a county or across cities can use. And so what I see happening, with Climate Investment Act's money or climate investment, CARB, climate investment, I forget the name of the exact organization inside of CARB that has all this money. But it would be nice to do more like public, scalable, EV bike, not necessarily the EV bike program that you incentivize individuals, but more of like a Bay Wheels where San Francisco or New York has like this company that manages all of these bikes for people to continuously use, not necessarily for them to have them for themselves, because then someone, of course, could sell their bike, or, having more transparency and more accountability with our community dollars invested in communities. I think, something that I would love to see, especially with this small HVIP money. I think it's like, how do we get the most bang for our buck, not only with emissions, but really with people enjoying the fact that electric vehicles are amazing, electric bikes are amazing, and we all need to get around our cities safely. So also maybe consider investing in bike lanes, in safety and things like that. So thank you.
Thank you, Taylor, for that comment. I'm sure our folks here from the light duty side of things will make a note of that. Just to clarify, the ISEF program does fund medium and heavy duty vehicles, which is more commercial vehicles. So while my program doesn't oversee that, there are definitely other teams in CARB working on those related projects. So
yeah, no, I mean, you guys are awesome. You're doing so much. And even today, seeing the lawsuit with 17 attorney generals, fighting back for EV charging dollars and grants. There's a lot going on. And so, but I think the purpose here is to say, well, what else can you do? And what do us, the people, think about it? So thank you.
Thank you.
Ava, you're muted. Oh, hold on.
Okay. I couldn't unmute myself. Thanks, Adelina.
Very sorry.
No worries. Yeah, Tyler, I just want to say thank you for your comments. Yeah, as Brianna mentioned, we do have several programs on community electrification type of programs, like electric car shares, bike share, also including infrastructure and chargers for those services. These are focused on low income and disadvantaged communities and low income tribes, but definitely can be expanded to any regions. We're just asking for more focus on low income and disadvantaged communities. And currently for Clean Mobility Options Program, under that particular program only, we do have 38 of these projects statewide, and we are hoping to expand them more if we receive additional funding next year, definitely. So, and these are great projects. Agree with you. People use them. People love them. Help residents to get to their medical appointments, to schools, to jobs, for people who cannot drive, for people that they are, for any reason, disability, senior citizens, no driver license, you call it. There are a lot of people that cannot afford electric vehicle as as personal vehicle. They just decide to use public transportation, and these services are super helpful for them. And we are hoping to continue these kind of services and these fundings when we get additional money from the government. Thank you.
Thank you, Eva. Mike Bullock, I've unmuted your microphone.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, I have two comments. I'll try to keep them brief. One is, so these trucks that are out being used, which is great. I'll just start out. I did the math on the number of trucks. It's very small. I wish it was, we could multiply it by 1,000 or so and make it so much larger. But one thing on these trucks that we taxpayers are making a little cheaper for the companies is that you could use part of the truck for advertising and let people know that it's partially subsidized. Maybe that's not the most important message. Maybe the important message would be that it helps on climate. It also reduces the pollution wherever it goes and is healthier. And just information like that, it would be good on the truck. Now, the second thing is that there are people that are, when I think of a fleet, I think of delivery, and maybe it's more business to business and so on and so forth. But I do think about maybe some of these fleets will be delivering things to people's homes and so on and so forth. And in that case, people are receiving goods, and it's all, it would be nice if they knew they were given, a sheet of paper, not necessarily 8.5 by 11, maybe smaller, that comes with it, that notifies them that the truck was cleaner, that the truck did not deliver pollution, it delivered their goods. And it could also even ask if they would like to expand this so that more people could get goods in electric trucks, and electric trucks make the neighborhood cleaner, make everybody healthier. And would they like to contribute to the program? And some people just might on a whim throw in some money. And if these fleets are delivering a lot of goods in a day, maybe it would raise an appreciable amount of money. Now, there might be, for some reason, that couldn't be done, but I think it should be explored. And maybe it could be done, and just to let everybody know what's going on, and even ask for a contribution. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Sounds like we need to hire you, Mike.
Great ideas.
Tyler Wunsch, it looks like you've got your hand raised again. I'm not sure if that was
Yep,
intentional or
thanks.
not, but I've unmuted you.
Thank you. It was just I can't talk in the chat, so I just wanted to echo the sentiments about Mike. And Mike, if you haven't, I suggest you check out the CARB Ride and Drive showcase that usually happens. There was one recently in Sacramento. There's one in Oakland that I was able to join. And a lot of things that you're saying, they're actively doing. And it's awesome because you have not government necessarily, it's government mediated and government really hosted, but there's companies that are actively building these amazing projects and products. So I got to drive a Volvo front end loader all electric. I got to drive a street sweeper all electric. I got to drive the Tesla Semi. And so if you haven't been to one of those, I highly suggest you do.
Tyler. Thank you for your comments and questions. We're going to move on now to our next presentation by Leilani Viramontes. She's going to give us a recap on the Clean Mobility Forum.
Thank you, Stephen. Good evening, everyone. My name is Leilani Viramontes, and today I'll be providing a brief recap on the latest Clean Mobility Forum, which is hosted by the Clean Mobility Equity Alliance, and it was this past October in Fresno, California. Next slide, please. Before diving into the forum itself, we thought it'd be helpful to provide some context on how the event ties into CARB's equity investments. The figure on the slide outlines the various projects that fall under the vehicle purchase incentives and the clean mobility investments. The annual forum is hosted by the Clean Mobility Equity Alliance, or CEMEA, which we'll provide more detail on in the next slide. But CEMEA is a peer network that supports grantees of the clean mobility investments, which are shown in the slide on the right. So this includes the Clean Mobility Options Program, the Sustainable Transportation Equity Project, Planning and Capacity Building, and Clean Mobility in Schools. Next slide, please. Led by the Shared Use Mobility Centers, CEMEA is a peer learning knowledge sharing network that convenes clean mobility project implementers and partners, helping build collective capacity and reduce isolation across geographically and operationally diverse clean mobility projects. As stated in the slide before, members include but are not limited to grantees of CARB's clean mobility investments. CEMEA's goals include supporting project implementation by establishing a space for participants to share challenges and lessons learned, and by providing capacity building resources to members. CEMEA also creates a clean mobility equity community of practice and advances mobility justice policy solutions by identifying unique community needs and responsive policy approaches. Network activities include meetings, resources such as an events calendar and funding and policy tracker, communications through their biweekly digest emails and a monthly newsletter, and the annual Clean Mobility Forum. Members range from nonprofit and community-based organizations, local and regional governments, tribal governments, and mobility operators and implementers. From 2020 to 2025, CEMEA has hosted 90 meetings and has had over 500 participants for the 29 meetings and working groups held in 2025. Next slide, please. Expanding on the Clean Mobility Forum, the forum is an annual in-person event hosted by CEMEA that brings clean mobility project implementers and partners together to share stories, challenges, successes, and lessons learned in the clean shared mobility space. The forum's goals are to provide capacity building learning opportunities, to share best practices and lessons learned on a variety of topics, and to provide networking, relationship building, and partnership development opportunities among CEMEA members, project implementers, service providers, researchers, and more. This past October, the third forum was held in Fresno, and the images on the slide shows a live graphic that was illustrated during Dr. Cassandra Little's from the Fresno Metro Black Chamber of Commerce's keynote speech at the 2025 forum. This year's theme was Bridging Systems and Centering Equity, Advancing Clean Mobility Through Practice and Partnership. Previous year's forums were in downtown Los Angeles and Pasadena, and the forum has gathered over 180 to 200 attendees each year and offers panel sessions, breakout rooms, and networking sessions to engage and learn from. And my colleague will drop the link in the chat to the forum webpage if you'd like to learn more about the event. Next slide, please. So the following slides share some photos and highlights from this year's forum. This year's forum gathered 185 attendees, with 165 in person and 20 attending virtually. The majority of attendees were from nonprofit organizations, with the next largest group from the local or regional area, and the remaining attendees from private, community-based, or government organizations. The forum also provided 29 travel scholarships to members of nonprofit organizations, tribal governments, and local governments. Next slide, please. The forum also gathered 13 promotional partners, with some of those partners listed on the slide. They helped promote the event to their local communities and ensure that the forum draws participation from diverse audiences across California. This year's program also introduced program bridges to help attendees bridge beyond their usual area of interest and expertise. Program bridges were focused on community-led planning, mobility deep dives, and financial and long-term sustainability, to name a few. And each bridge had specific breakout and panel sessions that were relevant to the bridge topic. Some of this year's sessions focused on policy and practice, tools and strategies for transportation equity planning, recent legislation impacting clean mobility, and shared mobility roundtables. Next slide, please. And on this slide, you can see a few testimonials from the 2025 forum sharing attendees' thoughts on the events. And we can leave this slide up on the screen for a moment just to let you all read those testimonials. Next slide, please. The conversations and relationships built at the forum continue outside of the annual event as well. CEMIA provides various avenues for members to connect, share ideas, and collaborate on solutions. CEMIA hosts 4 working groups, which are smaller group meetings that host focused discussions. The 4 current working groups tackle long-term sustainability, equity, bike share, and car share, and they meet monthly or bi-monthly depending on the group. If you're interested in joining the network or learning more, my colleague will drop a link in the chat to CEMIA's webpage, where you can sign up for their newsletter, or feel free to scan the QR code on the slide. We'll also be dropping the link to their membership application form. CEMIA will be hosting the 2026 forum in Sacramento, so make sure to sign up for the newsletter to stay in the loop as more details are announced. Please also feel free to email me at the email address on the slide if you have any other questions, and thank you for your time tonight.
All right, we'll now open the floor for questions and comments about this part of the presentation. Again, as a reminder, to ask a question or make a comment, if you're using the desktop Zoom app on your PC, please click Raise Hand under the Participants tab. If you're using the mobile Zoom app on your mobile device, tap the Raise Hand icon in the More tab. And if you're calling in by phone, press *2 to raise your hand. Again, you can also email questions to cleantransportationincentives@arb.ca.gov. This email address will also be posted in the chat. Again, please include your name and affiliation, if any, with your question. And once your line is open, state your name and affiliation, if any, before speaking. If you're emailing, our email monitor will notify us of your questions. Tyler Wunsch, I've unmuted your mic.
Thank you. Thank you, Leilani. I have been to the event in the past. I unfortunately wasn't able to make it to Fresno for the Clean Mobility Forum, but I went to the one in Sacramento, which I believe was the year prior. Is it going to continue to float around the state? And if so, where is it going to be next year?
Yeah, Tyler, I think you might be thinking about the symposium. It's a very similar event that CARB hosts, and that one was in Sacramento about 2 years ago. The Clean Mobility Forum, the event I provided the recap on today, is actually going to be in Sacramento for the first time in 2026, most likely in that similar early October, late September timeframe. But both events are kind of similar, and a lot of attendees from one will go to the other. So it's great to hear that you were at that symposium. But if you want to get more details on the next Clean Mobility Forum, that newsletter, the link they share to subscribe to the newsletter on the website would be great if you're not already subscribed, because they'll be sending all the updates for the event through there, so you stay up to date.
Okay, cool. So the forum is coming to Sacramento for the first time, and then the symposium, is that going to Fresno? Or where is that going to go next year?
The symposium will also be in Sacramento actually this year, so both will be in the area. And I think you had a question earlier about if they're going to continue floating. And yes, the intention is to keep the events in different locations each year, just so that we're kind of hitting other parts throughout the state and making it more accessible for different groups so that not everyone has to travel to the same area each year.
Okay, great. And then I just have a quick follow-up about the comments. There was, I think, a lot of people mentioning the HFIP comments from the last presenter, and then I think one was based off a question that I had asked. But there's a lot of email aliases, and I'm not quite sure like what those are. So I'm just wondering if Maggie Witt could maybe comment on each one to just say, because like one says ICEF, I don't know if that's a person, or just like more context around what those email addresses are. And that's all. Thank you.
Yeah, we can definitely provide more clarification in the chat. Thank you for your comments.
All right, does it look like we have any more questions about this presentation? So now we'd like to open up the floor to all questions, but please limit your comments and questions to relevant topics that we've discussed tonight. We'd like to open it up for discussion about any ideas for upcoming meetings, general comments you might have. And for our attendees, if you have an upcoming clean transportation or mobility event to share here, please raise your hand to do so.
Okay, I think I spoke too soon.
Tyler Wunsch, you know the drill.
I know, sorry about that. It was like right on the buzzer. You know, my comment is really just about this industry and this inflection point that we're at. You know, yes, there are some headwinds, but there's so many tailwinds. And you know, the idea that kind of popped into my head was you know, the CARB ride and drive and the showcase and just the educational event. It's amazing. And the fact that, you know, you can go to the Oakland Coliseum, for example, and test drive closed track a semi truck, or so many different use cases and form factors. It's fantastic. And I think it's great, but I also think that we really need to be more innovative. And what I mean by that is that there's also, for example, the public side, more the light duty side, that does this, and it's an organization called Electrify Expo. And Electrify Expo is amazing. It's similar in nature, but it's all over the nation. And so, what I would love to see out of CARB is more like more fun. And what I mean by that is like our waterways and our lakes and our rivers. There's tremendous amount of carbon emissions coming from boats and jet skis, and people aren't really talking about it or educated about it. And so there are now products in the market like Arc boats or Pure Watercraft or so many other things, you know, jet skis from Sea-Doo, where it's like, how do we move on from like, okay, yes, there are semi trucks, like Tesla Semi is ramping up in 2026. I don't know that we really need to do test drives anymore for the Tesla Semi. They're highly capable of doing that. It's great, don't get me wrong, but I just think with our money in our communities, there could be a way better, and I hate to use the word a better impact, but yeah, our waterways, our lakes, our off-road vehicles. So yeah, just kind of like, please consider more fun with your events, and also more like youth engagement, and not only like private business, but also like everyone that is in a city, in a state, in a community, in a neighborhood to really be like, wow, look, CARB is like showcasing this at the river this weekend. Like, let's go. So yeah, just a comment about that. Thank you.
Richard Blaustein, I've unmuted your microphone.
Yes, thank you again. Rich Blaustein, journalist with Climate Brief, published by the Continuing Education of the Bar. I have a quick question about ISEF. Great presentation, very informative. And they had the examples were for insurance or leases. So I was wondering, so the small market or small fleets that this program addresses, are they less inclined, or just through experience so far, not purchasing brand new vehicles, full ownership? Thank you.
Yeah, so the insurance, those were the new options I had mentioned, the development of a used truck voucher pilot concept, advanced fleet management assistance, and insurance support. These are further developing it within the ISEF program because we have seen through experience that there are just more additional challenges that small fleets face in adopting ZEVs. And we want to provide as many resources to make that adoption successful. So, and these new options came about from public comments that we collected, as well as funding plan workshops. So it's in part through experience and as well as just public intake, which is why we're continuing exploring them.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, Stephen, are we done? I don't see any hands.
No more hands. Oh, we got one. Got two. Jay Graham, I've unmuted your mic.
Hi, thanks for this meeting and thanks for taking questions. Adelina, you mentioned something about presenting to the board in 2027. Do you have any more details on what that looks like, or what sort of a loose framework of what that would be? And I'm sorry if I missed a meeting or missed a memo. So.
I don't believe I mentioned
Oh,
going.
I'm sorry. Maybe it wasn't you. I think there was an earlier question about when I think it was Tyler mentioned something about presenting to the board some loose framework for a strategy of, and someone said it was happening sooner than 2028. It was happening in 2027. Forgive me if I misheard.
Oh, I think that maybe that was Jeanette's presentation. Is there anyone online that can help answer that question?
Yes, I can help. The first part of a presentation was about when we are hoping we're going to the board for the regulations, and that is sometimes in 2027, summer of 2027. Mr. Graham, I don't see your first name. I apologize. And there is an email address that we're putting in the chat. If you have any question regarding that timeline, please reach out to them. It's Clean Cars, the GOV or something like that. We're going to put it in the chat, or it's already in the chat. I'm not sure. But yes, if you have any specific question about the timeline for going to the board for our incentives regulation, please reach out to them directly. Thank you.
Thanks, Ava.
Tyler, I've unmuted your mic.
Yeah, I'll be so quick because I know we all want to have dinner and get done for the day. So I was just thinking, I read last week that the X Games are coming to Sacramento next summer. And I just want to follow up on the previous discussion point about leveraging the waterways and lakes and off-road. And so I know CARB obviously always wants to work with community partners. So that might be a really good way to showcase some of, the all-electric motorcycles or the all-electric race products that are being featured, but then also maybe do something bigger like a wakeboarding competition on the river. So yeah, just some ideas. I have more, but that's all. Thanks.
Tyler, hi, I'm Adelina. I do some of the outreach for some of our incentives. I'm going to be reaching out and sending you an email, just like a follow-up email, so we can collab on some of your ideas, if that's okay with you. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that sounds great.
Okay,
Would love
awesome.
to do that. And I think there's so much potential. And right now it's no longer like, oh yeah, this would be great. It's like there's active companies that are, even, look at what happened with Moxion, unfortunately, in the generator, but then look at Veridity, who now has taken over their site. So it's like, yeah, we're keep moving in a forward direction. So happy to help.
Sounds good. Love it. All right. Thanks for all of the questions. Really good feedback. Really good, solid engagement happening tonight. We are always so appreciative of everyone who takes time out to come and party with us. Let's move on to the next slide. All right, this is the fun stuff, guys, folks. All right, so today we want to share a special update that the Community Planning and Capacity Building Grant 2025 request for applications is officially open. Applicants can request up to $500,000 per project with a total of $7.3 million available statewide. Eligible applicants include tribal governments, community-based organizations, partnered with a local or government tribe, local governments, and public schools. And based on tribal feedback, a waiver of sovereign immunity is not required for this RFA, making it more accessible to tribal applicants. Free technical assistance is available to all applicants, but requests must be submitted by January 23rd, 2026. CARB will also host 2 Q&A sessions on January 8th and January 27th to answer RFA specific questions. Outside these sessions, we cannot respond to questions about the RFA. Full details, application instructions, and all supporting documents, please visit the RFA webpage. And we have Maggie dropping some links in the chat for the RFA planning and the technical assistance survey. Let's see. There it is. Awesome. Okay, next steps. For next steps, I just want to give a quick thank you and shout out to all of our presenters and volunteers again. We appreciate your time and collaboration. For everyone who showed up tonight. Before we sign off, I do want to share some upcoming events that you all may be interested in. I know, Mike, you had mentioned some interest earlier, and Tyler, you may already know about these things, but let's just share what we have so far, and we can keep everyone updated and contact you all later also. But let me pull this up. I can't read. It's too small. Let me open. Okay. All right. So the next evening community meeting, I have December 16th on there still. Sorry, guys. So the Planning Capacity Building RFA Q&A session 1, January 8th, as mentioned. The next evening community meeting is January 20th. There will be a CARB board meeting January 22nd and 23rd. And then the second Planning and Capacity Building RFA question and answer session on January 27th. And then February 17th is the following evening community meeting. So yeah, just a quick reminder. These evening community meetings are held every third Tuesday of the month. We will not have a meeting in December of 2026. Gosh. We also may need to shift things around a day or two during like budget season, but it hasn't happened in a really long time. So you guys can depend on having us here every third Tuesday of the month. I am going to have Maggie drop the event calendar in the chat and the LCTI workshop page. Next slide. All right. And before we end, I just want to emphasize that CARB, we have an open door policy, especially for those most affected by our incentive projects. We encourage you to contact us if you would like to meet with staff to discuss your needs, concerns, and potential solutions. You can reach our team using any of the emails listed in this slide. Again, my name's Adelina. This is, we are also listing in the chat a request for one-on-one meetings. And another way for you all to stay informed is our listserv. The listserv is a way for you to sign up for email notifications on topics that may be of interest to you. They also do meeting blasts, events, and updates of all of our different incentive projects. If you sign up for that, staff will be dropping that in the chat too. I think that's it. Listserv's on there, the one-on-ones. You have our emails. Yeah, so thank you again for everyone who took their time to show up for us. We appreciate it, and we will see you next month.